I'm going to briefly discuss time and dimensions. So, basically, the faster you go in time, the closer you get to light speed. So the faster you get in space, the farther you get in time because light and time are intertwined. So basically, it's like if someone went twice as far in space than you, aka faster, then they'd be closer to the light. So proportionately, they would have gone through less time than the world around them. So if you go negatively through time, aka past the speed of light, then it's time traveling forward because it's further from the original point than the light/time is. But if you can take wormholes, and since the speed of light is impassable, then that must mean that all wormholes cut through the universe and space by taking a shortcut through the fourth dimension, which means that the shape of the universe is fourth dimensional, thus proving the fourth dimension. So, you can only travel forward through time by aging through time at ridiculously small rate by traveling through space at ridiculously fast rates. You can forward space travel right now if you were able to hibernate yourself because you'd be close enough to the speed of light for some time dilation. So if you went 1,000 years in the round-way trip at 1/1000th the speed of light, it would be the same as going through the speed of light, aka not traveling through time whatsoever, and then coming back. So if we were able to get ridiculously long-lasting human hibernation, we can travel forward in time a considerable amount. The point of forward time travel is to keep sending the ships out, and if humanity ever destroys itself or something, but the Earth is still habitable, we could restart the human race also for exploration. Also, time travel into the past would be possible, but would require sending the entire universe, except you, faster than the speed of light, so at our current understanding of the universe, it isn't possible. But if you were to travel forward in time through a fourth dimension through a wormhole, then what stops you from traveling backwards through the fourth dimension and going back in time? This is why time is the fourth dimension. Note, the fourth dimension isn't actually time, it's just time travel is how we'd experience it. So the fourth dimension is time, but it's like length. We can only move backwards or forwards. Then you get width, the fifth dimension, which basically splits potential decisions into possibilities. Then you'd get the sixth dimension, which would be like a two-dimensional array of the fifth dimension. Since basically we are in the third dimension, we can only see how they react with each other in three dimensions. So the first, fourth, and seventh, and so on dimensions are special dimensions, because each of those goes beyond another comprehension. And every possible action in the universe, aka literally anything that could have happened, has already happened, but we cannot see it because we are stuck in our dimension. So basically, we are just one of many possible versions of yourself and the walls of the 4th through 56 dimensions, because cube are infinite because we can't understand up to the 7th. But if one were an infinite series of possibilities, perhaps we are of the minute possibility that we evolved too far away to ever reach another planet, so life on Earth would never come in contact with alien life. Our issue was in assuming that we are not the only incarnation of ourselves, but in reality there are infinite amount of me and even more infinite amount of not me. So, our concept of infinity is based off the only infinite reality, the size of the universe. So infinity is connected to the 4th dimension, since that was the point at which we can't comprehend what can be beyond infinite size. So the 4th, 7th, and 10th dimensions are the third dimensional concepts of infinity to the third dimensional. Now, we know that our universe could be infinitely sized because we know that any universe is infinitely sized because it loops. Like say you took a two-dimensional world, aka a square, and folded it into a sphere. A two-dimensional being on that two-dimensional world would keep going around and around, unaware that he is actually starting where he was, because he unknowingly traveled through a high dimension. The higher dimension loops the universe, so it has infinite space and time. Wormholes are to the third dimension what tunnels are to the second dimension. Time dilation is light dilation, hence intertwined space, time, and light. If you'd ever think to yourself how unlucky you are to think about how especially lucky the odds of the Earth being a living planet, than to think of yourself of what a fraction of life on Earth is even capable of, though then think about how much less likely it is to be a mammal than a primate, than a human in the 21st century. We have incredible lack of just existing. So you have beaten unbelievable odds to be as happy as you are now, or even capable of having thought, and perhaps the 7th, 8th, 9th dimensions are possibly ways that the 4th, 6th, and 5th time traveling could happen. Also, keep in mind that that time is money, therefore money is the 4th dimension. And also think about this. So we can't make robots conscious because under the 7th dimension theory, there must be an infinite number of consciousness. But we will never be able to have a program, so there are an infinite number of possibilities. So therefore, robots can never be conscious because we'd have infinitely many robots in the infinite number of universes, and they'd all be unique programming. So we'd have to have an infinite number of unique robot consciousnesses, but that could never happen, so consciousness requires something special that's only for living things. Think about it.